Hey guys, Mike here. So I want to talk about a few stocks today that actually have catalyst in August, some next week, and one big catalyst that might happen in August. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I'm going to go over the stocks that absolutely could be affected by that and what they do and everything, and an easy way to invest in them. And these are, swing trades, options trades, or either dollar cost averaging into them as well. You can think about that. And so before I talk about those, I do want to say I finally got my BlockFi credit card, thank God. Got it in on Friday. Was able to spend a little bit this weekend on it. And this is for those who hadn't got it yet, this will be what it looks like on your BlockFi account. It'll show you your rewards that you're earning. It'll show you if you refer a friend, how much more Bitcoin you can get on that as well. No annual fee for those who don't know. And this is what the credit card looks like, as you've seen. And so don't forget, there's two links down the bottom. One to actually open a BlockFi account where you can earn interest of up to 7.25% on your stablecoin, which is what I'm doing right now. And then on the rest of your crypto, different interest rates. And so definitely use that. Or the other link is just if you want to sign up for the credit card. So go ahead and hook yourself up with that. But let me know in the comments if you got yours, or are you still on the waiting list, and are you actually using it? And I don't know why I'm excited about getting a credit card, but I guess, just earning crypto on my expenditures is different. I guess what it is, just something different. So we'll see how it works, and I'll let you guys know how it's going. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into these stocks for August. And so the first ones we're going to talk about is some high growth stocks that have earnings coming up here next week. And so these are, some fast moving stocks. They can absolutely move up on earnings, or it can move down depending on what is said. And so let's go through those, and then we'll get into the other group that has to do with the other catalysts that could come out this month. And so the first one we're going to talk about is NIO, who reported their car sales today for July, and it actually was a really good number. That's why you see it get bumped up a little bit and moving. But the one thing about NIO, you can see it's finding support of the 200 EMA. And so looking at this resistance right here, this is the one resistance level that NIO's had a lot of trouble either getting through, you can see all the rejections there, or staying above. And it's right around $48. And so we're going to have to see what they do the rest of the week and what earnings coming up. Will they actually break through that resistance, be able to maintain it, or will they get rejected again? But right now, at least over the last, since back before April, definitely finding support at that 200-day EMA. And then the next one's XP. They reported really good numbers on their sales as well. And you can see it loves to trade in this channel between $33 and around $46 is its resistance. And you can see it's gotten rejected many times trying to get through that resistance level and cannot stay above it. But the good thing is it does have support around 33, so it's a big window that it trades in with earnings coming up next week. And again, they reported good sales, so we'll have to see how that's going to play out. But it is something to think about. It could obviously get rejected. If you look at the other earnings, it's hard to judge them because either we were in a sell-off on one or we were in a move up on another. So it's hard to tell what the earnings was and just market movement. The next one we're talking about is Nano Genomics, another popular one. And this is kind of faded out of the retail investors' minds right now, I think, honestly, as far as the sentiment's concerned. But the good thing is it's just been riding that 200-day EMA since May. And the resistance on this one is usually around 820 is what it has a trouble getting through. But it maintains right around the $5.85 resistance or support level. And you got earnings coming up this week on this one. I believe it is Wednesday. So we're going to see if it can finally move up. As you can see, the volume has been decreasing dramatically. And then, of course, a really popular one's Palantir. This one right here can't bust above 27.50 to save its life and actually stay there. And it keeps getting rejected multiple times, going all the way back to March. But it loves to trade in this tight window right now between $22 and $23, somewhere in there. And so, will it actually bust out next week? It usually does pretty good on earnings reports. People are expecting a good earnings report. And so we're going to see if it can finally break above around the $23 mark and actually stay and start trading in the next window, which would be between $23 and $27.50, and just stay up there for a while. But you can see also, the volume decrease on that one as well. And you can see that 27.50 resistance level actually goes back all the way to last year. And so it's nothing new to this stock. The next one's SoFi. It's going to be reporting next week, I believe it is. And you can see the window it trades in. Top resistance level at $17.50. Support level around $15. And so again, this is another one that's getting rejected multiple times at 1750 level. We're going to see if earnings can actually help it push through. Again, the volume spiked up. That was the sell-off, of course, and then it's been decreasing ever since. And one thing I think people are waiting on so far, especially the institutions, are waiting to see if they get their national bank charter approved, which will allow them to actually lend out more money and at a less interest rate, or it costs them less to actually lend it out. So that would be huge for them. And so another one, which I haven't really talked about on this channel, but Tattoo Chef's a big one people love to talk about. And this one right here loves to trade between $19 and around $22.75. And it just cannot break above that resistance level and stay there to save its life. But the good thing is it does have good support around $19.50 range, and earnings coming up next week, so we'll have to see, because last time it obviously went up during earnings, but that's when all high growth stocks were going up just like the rest of these. And then when it did earnings for that, we were in a sell-off. And so it's hard to judge how it's going to do. And so definitely interested to hear from you about, which one of those stocks you think is going to do best during earnings, and will they actually continue to move up this month. And one thing to keep in mind is August is a slow month, and it's not known to be the best for stocks. And so we're going to have to see on that. And at the end, I'm going to talk to you about, a couple things that could absolutely train wreck all of these catalysts and these earnings and everything else for all of the stocks this month that are released to the members this morning. And so the next catalyst, which we're hoping happens, we've been waiting on this for many years, many years, is the infrastructure bill, right? The Senate just laid out their groundwork a little bit. We don't know truly 100% of what's in it, but we have a good idea of what's actually in the bill. And so they're hoping to take a vote on that and pass it, and then the House would actually have to pass theirs. Then they have to reconcile the two, and then send it to the president once they vote on the reconciled bill. And so, the number one stock on this one, I think everybody's looking towards on this infrastructure bill, is ChargePoint. And because they really do believe in the original bill they came up with in the House, charging infrastructure was a big part of it. I think that's definitely going to stay in this bill, maybe not as obviously a bigger part, but quite a bit of money. I'm talking about billions of dollars in infrastructure for charging companies, which will help the EV stocks, help the charging company stocks. ChargePoint being the biggest one in the U.S. by a country mile will absolutely help it. And you can see ChargePoint here in this chart. It loves to trade between 20 and 33.50. Just up, rejected, down, support, up, rejected, down, support. Lately it's been finding support around the 22.75 area, but cannot stay above 33.50 to save its life since March. And so people definitely think if the infrastructure bill does pass and we get a nice chunk of change in there for charging infrastructure, you're going to see this stock absolutely move up, I think, along with the rest of the charging companies as well. So don't forget about Blink and the rest of them. And the other one I just put on this chart right here, you can see there's going to be 5 of them. Nucor Corporation, obviously, and these are the ones you're talking about building bridges and roads, which we know is definitely going to be a part of this infrastructure bill. Nucor Corporation is the biggest steel company in America. And so, you see it's a little more expensive, $102. You got Cleveland Cliffs down there. It's a little cheaper, obviously, and it is a large steel manufacturer as well. It does the rolled steel that you see being transported on the trucks around here. Vulcan Materials, can't build anything without Vulcan Materials. They provide the concrete and everything else to build the bridge and roads. And obviously John Deere Tractor Company, you're talking about all the heavy machinery it takes to do the infrastructure. That's what they make. And so if you don't want to, and also I want to put this in there because if you don't want to pick one individual stock, you have the Global X US Infrastructure ETF, only going for $26.35. It's called PAVE right there, as you can see, and it has all those stocks I just mentioned in it, along with many others. And you can see right here, there's Nucor, like I just mentioned. You got John Deere right there, Vulcan right there as well. And so all the rest of them, and there's a lot of them. Now, there are a couple things that could happen that could derail August totally for the stock market right now. Okay, it's already a slow month to begin with. Not very historically good for stocks to begin with. But as I released some stuff out to the members this morning, as you can see right here, is the debt ceiling. We got to pay close attention to this, because if there is some type of shutdown, they decide not to come to an agreement, because you're going to need both parties to come to an agreement on this to make this happen. The Treasury Department is already going to step in and make sure we don't default on the debt and stuff. But if there is a government shutdown, you can guarantee the stock market is going to have a nice little pullback on that, because it always does usually. The other one is the National Eviction Ban. It actually expired Saturday. So obviously you're talking about foreclosures and eviction and stuff that will start to take place. And more importantly, what this will do is reduce consumer spending outside of housing, because I was actually in this business back in '08. What will happen is, if you get evicted or foreclosed on, your credit sucks. And when you go to get an apartment or even rent a house, you're going to pay a huge deposit. That's just the way it's going to be. I mean, it's going to be big. And so you're going to worry about that. Plus, you're most likely, obviously, starting to incur bills, because if you've been under eviction or getting foreclosed on, you probably haven't been paying any kind of mortgage or rent for that matter. And so all of a sudden, you're going to have to start paying that. And so that's something to think about. That's less money you're having to spend on groceries and just anything, shoes, clothes, vacations, whatever. And so that's something to think about there. And then, of course, the third one, which I never talk about on this channel, but to be honest with you, it is, hitting home for me, because I live here in Florida, is the Delta variant. The cases, not so much the cases you got to pay attention to, it's the hospitalizations, which in Florida, we're the epicenter, supposedly. I mean, we're all over the national news at this point in time again. And so, that's something to pay attention to, because if it continues going, we won't shut down anything here. But, there could be other places, even the world. If you start to see England or Canada or anybody around us start to do that, then, this is a global stock market. So that could give the institutions a reason to sell off, whether it is justified or not. But we still got to pay attention to hospitalizations, and that's really, to me, the key number that I look at. And so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully this starts to decrease. I hope it does. But it's something we definitely got to keep an eye on, because I always say, especially in August, September, institutions look for any reason to sell stocks off, any reason. And so, that's something to keep an eye on. I don't really talk about that stuff anyways. I'm not a doctor. I just know what I see and read, and that's it. But it's just something, as far as the market's concerned, you got to pay attention to it, because they will definitely sell those stocks off if this happens. And so, that's the stocks I would be looking for in August. That is some of the other things I'll be looking for to derail all of that in August as well. And so we'll see how it goes. So hopefully you got something out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. I would appreciate it. Just get to use that link down the bottom. Open a BlockFi account or apply for the credit card and start earning cryptocurrencies on your purchases. And having said all that, I will see you guys tomorrow.